Well, that didn't go too well, did it? Like, it's the Astralis playoff lead. But, yeah, I think this is going to be one of those matches. Obviously, you got the Betway odds. They do, of course, favor EG because this is a brand new side, but not as one-sided as you might expect, considering this is two brand new players for FaZe.
And it's going to be do or die time for FaZe, I feel like. I mean, the fact they've been rotating players consistently. Obviously, Broken needs a little bit of time, you know, to get Broken into the roster. I'm curious to see who necessarily will be picking up the AWP for their team. We can see Tarek already defending over towards ramp, as it looks like FaZe is going to come barreling through. I imagine he's just going to back away, try to stay safe in the meantime. Also, Evil Genius is trying to rotate around into some different positions. But I think I would agree with the odds, to be honest. EG are a team that have been together for, you know, a bit of time. You have FaZe Clan with 2 players come into this. How well are they going to perform, and how deep is their map pool really going to be?
Well, yeah, and this man on screen, the amount of pressure going into this, like the first thing you ever do, New York, New York. And well, we'll see if they're going to be able to pull it off at the Big Apple. Already a pretty good start over for the T side, and well, the CT's already in a retake.
Just want to say, if you guys have your bingo cards ready, I think we tagged a couple of those if you saw it over on Reddit before. Cirque's going to open things up with initial frag. Looking for more as the bomb has been planted. Some good angles being held by the T side of FaZe Clan, though, as Ethan just runs straight through, doesn't catch coldzera, who gets a double. Brokey going to get one, and look at that. FaZe Clan shut that retake down.
Yeah, that's pretty much as good as it gets on the start for the T side. Something to note, though, at least in the past when these two teams have played, obviously it's been quite a while that we saw them battle it out in, I think, July, when it was actually both times they played a game of Nuke, and both times FaZe actually managed to win it. So if you look at that roster compared to this one, there is still some hope. It's not like this we're going into this going, okay, this will be a blowout. Like, as it was said on the desk, you can never underestimate, like, half the players. Like, I said it to Thorin earlier, 4 of the 5 players have been in the top 5 HLTV rankings at one point. There's not many teams that can say that. In fact, I don't think there's any.
Well, we'll see if the top 5 players can actually make it work when it comes to playing together. I think that's going to be the real big problem. You look at, you know, professional sports of, you know, football. You can buy all the best players in the world, but it doesn't make you the best team in the world, unfortunately. But Evil Geniuses, oh, look at this. A Mag 7 bought up for Ethan. A couple of scouts as well, but there's not really any avenue to make those scouts work towards the outside position. And I think EG have read into this decently well, but you can see Rain already with the AK taking down Ethan.
Yeah, this leaves only one defender. Once Tarek goes down, this round is pretty much all she wrote. They've just got to wait patiently. Scout actually rotating in. Cirque hoping to at least do some damage, and he has managed to drop the bomb. May put second thoughts into the minds of his remaining teammates who are yet to actually rotate in, but, well, now it does seem like they're just going to opt to save their remaining weaponry. Bomb will be planted, and I think they've only lost a Mag 10 in this scenario, so FaZe not really going to be too worried.
I think they could be happy with the start as well. And I'm really curious to see how, like, Brokey does over the course of these matches. You know, again, this is such a tough team to come into, of all-stars, of legends in the roster, and then to have to play on the same level of them, playing a first big event like this, like, that's a lot of weight and a lot of pressure on your shoulders, and it's an opportunity for him to shine, I feel like. You know, it's either sink or swim time. That's what it comes down to in esports, and I want to see, you know, when we get into Vertigo, if FaZe Clan have prepared a map like that. I know you mentioned to me before about, you know, Evil Geniuses on Vertigo. Well, they haven't played it a single time in an official, so obviously that must be a map they've been preparing for and practicing.
Yeah, going back to your point about Brokey, though, I think the most interesting thing there is how much confidence must you have now? Because you're 18 years old, you're already doing pretty well. Like, you're a Latvian player, you've come through. Not many Latvian players have managed to do that before. In fact, I don't think any have got as far as he has. And then you have Yanko, who is stone cold, and you've got Nico and coldzera going, yeah, I'd like to play with you. If that was me, my confidence would be like, I'm sick. Like, I'm amazing at this game. Like, I must be so good if these guys want to play with me, when before that, I was on Epsilon. Like, come on. Like, that is a massive step up for him. And
at the same time, though, that's a lot of pressure then. Yeah, to know everyone's looking at you. Like, if these guys vouch for you to play on a team, you better perform, you better live up to it.
He's with us.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for FaZe Clan to have a good start this tournament, I think if he can kick things off, if he can get like a confident half or a confident map under his belt, I feel like that's going to really propel FaZe Clan through into their opponents later on in today and, of course, tomorrow.
Once again, we see the weaponry that they managed to hold onto in the previous round being brought through to try and do some extra damage. That's the goal here for EG. It's not really a round that you can expect to win. And you may even want to, like, for example, Breeze may just want to hold on to the Kevlar. It's not ideal, but it could be something to bring into the next round. The only other benefit was if he can get himself a kill or two or a weapon, but it's only really the MAC-10s pushing. The actual weaponry, the rifles, is going to be held on to by FaZe. They're not going to throw any of that into the remaining players. But even still, they've done a bit of damage. They've made a bit of cash. And with the loss bonus into the next round, we'll see EG with a strong buy.
And even though we are only 3 rounds in, and yeah, we've had like kind of a forced spot out of EG, Brokey's currently 4-1. Just want to point that out. Not a bad start, you know. I think it could have done worse in your first, you know, official match here with the team. It definitely could have been, you know, a 0-kill start. Probably something we would have put up if we were be forced to play into this kind of lineup. But that's a good start for them. I want to see if they continue this pace. We're obviously going to have the BAP come in now for Evil Geniuses. We're going to have the AWP come into play. And I'm curious, how are they actually going to utilize the AWP? Because we've seen, I feel like, a lot of outside controls so far for FaZe Clan. I don't know if EG are going to challenge out on that one. Obviously seen some ramp pushes come out of FaZe Clan as well. So will they look to contest it there? I think there's a lot of avenues they can decide to go for. But before we even get into that, looks like we're just having a quick restart here.
Yeah, either that or this is one of the diciest buys we've ever seen in Counter-Strike with a single AWP, everybody else on over $5,000, and a Zeus for Taric. Like, I don't think that's going to be their purchase. So, yeah, just looking like a few tech issues going to be thrown in. But, yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting tournament. I do think that this FaZe roster could easily be one that comes off with some sort of, like, honeymoon period. Like, you've already had, like, sort of a local, like, Serbian LAN where we actually saw... what was it? Cold, Nico, Kassad, and Yanko playing a LAN just for a bit of banter. I will say it didn't seem like it went entirely to plan. They did get eliminated, I think, by Blue Jays. And Yanko got as many kills as Nico, both on 11, and then Cold Zero got 30, and they still lost. So I'm hoping we'll see a little bit more from both then. Obviously, as it was mentioned on the desk again, Nico in the major had one of his poorest performances I think we've ever seen. So definitely hoping for a bounce back. And talk of bounce backs, Cirque's going to be onto the board. Quick kill, Stan's alongside him as well to open up this round in a strong fashion. In fact, Stan's gone very aggressive. He statistically did very well at the major. But there will be a trade back eventually. Of course, money-wise, it's not too damning for FaZe just yet, but they're still going to want to make this at least a little bit costly. It's been dominant in this round so far. I
mean, I like their willingness, though, out of EG to challenge outside, knowing they've given up so much control in the prior rounds. Even with double scout setup, they weren't able to be effective because obviously the smokes have come down, but they made it push through. They made a couple of kills for Stanislaw and Cirque as well, opening things up with the AWP. I think that lets FaZe Clan know that Evil Geniuses are here to play, and they're not going to give them that free reign or necessarily the respect that they haven't earned yet, FaZe Clan, to be fair, considering the new players on the team.
Yeah, still a lot to do to get themselves right back up into the top of the rankings, but in this round at least, I'm interested to see how they're going to try and play this, making their way on towards Taric, who's just waiting on the corner. Doesn't seem like he has too much support, though. There is a rotation coming in from Cirque, so if he peeks at the right time, which looks like he might, he's just around the edge of the corner. I think he's waiting for Taric to sort of give him that little bit of information, and that's the spot. Bomb drop. Nico shouldn't get much further than this because there is a man ready and waiting, and Taric, in fact, will get both of the kills. So already onto the board of the CT side, but as mentioned, there is going to be a buyback here from FaZe.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to go for the op, though. Olaf Meister on 7K. That's always a possibility. Coldzera is going to have one. And the thing is about FaZe Clan, we talk about, you know, teams who don't have a strong opper like NIP previously. Well, I guess I haven't said previously. I haven't picked anyone up yet. And then FaZe Clan, where you have an abundance of oppers. You have 4 players who could potentially pick it up and just use it in the middle of a game. So even if Brokey's not feeling confident, well, you know what? There's 3 other players that can just use that weapon to a pretty damn good level. And he will be on the MAC-10 as Coldzera will have the AWP.
Yeah. He wasn't even primary on his last team. Like, when he played for Epsilon, I think it was Crucial who was actually AWPing just because he doesn't really do anything else. It was his team before that where we actually see him AWP and, like, in FPL and stuff like that. So I think it is just going to be about, like, certain rounds, certain maps where they choose who picks up the AWP. That's the only worry, though. If it is going to be the weapon that he dominates with, there are going to be players like Cold, like Olaf in the past, Nico as well, who he'll be like, oh, no, I'll be taking it this one. And he can't exactly be the guy going, nah, it's mine.
I feel like for the team to be successful, to, like, bring in a player that really doesn't have a lot of competitive history is respecting him at the same time. Like, showing him the respect that he deserves. If you picked him up, then you better give him the respect for it. And I don't feel like you can, you know, swing around your big green against him like that on the team. So, but Coldzera will be starting things off with AWP. We'll see if that does change as the series goes on. And so far, FaZe Clan have been taking their time. Not really a heavy investment anywhere. They have gone for the smokes towards outside to potentially fake a push in that direction. It's just going to be Nico by himself, however. But he's been able to get in towards Secret. Now, this is where things are interesting, because the ramps can be pushed at the same time. There's 30 seconds left to go here, Tom, and FaZe Clan have to make a move now.
Yeah, Tarek again trying to hold this down already. Manages one, and there is a quick rotation from Cirque. As you mentioned, the clock is ticking, but Cold just holds the angle. And there's nobody down on the lower bomb side just yet. So this is all going to be quickly cleared. Any rotations can be held off as well by Nico. So they should be able to get this bomb down without any trouble at all.
I wonder if Stanislaw is actually going to be able to eliminate a couple of targets. He did have a little bit of a window to push through. The bomb has gone down. And Stanislaw just looking for one. He might actually... Oh my gosh, the timing. Nico turns away. Nico gets the first and the second onto Breeze. Looking all too easy for him. And now Stanislaw's left alone in a 1v4.
Yeah, just... You think about it, a split-second check and he gets that kill. His teammate makes it down the vent and can be a completely different story. Instead, Stan's going to get absolutely owned. A nice, easy kill for Brocky. And now, wow, another round back onto the board. The CT side finances are going to be a little bit more dicey in this situation. Although they kept it relatively clean in the last round. Oh, you don't want to see it.
I have confirmation that OF did, in fact, fist bump Yanko there at the end. Even though we cut away from it, I do have confirmation.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't want to be the person who didn't fist bump Yanko if he was looking for one.
True. That's true. Lovely guy, though. Love Yanko. Don't hurt me. So now 4-1 in favor of FaZe Clan. Looks like we're going to have a quick play come in towards inner. Will they go down towards ramp? They're going to rush straight in towards site. And, well, the answer's going to be there. They get that full control because they start just trying to spam away through the smoke with the deagle shots. Not really able to hit much of anything, though. And some good Molotov usage as well, just to really deny any sort of early contention out of Evil Geniuses, force them to play the retake. Even Cold Zero is watching the flank to come in, but we expect the second flank. Oh my God, the timing again. If he was there just half a second earlier.
He still doesn't know. I think he thought he got shot from somewhere else. That's actually an AWP for Stan. The bomb's ticked quite far gone. They're still going to be going this with the remaining players. I was kind of hoping you'd see Stan actually just walk away with the AWP because that's a big boost of economy. But hey, they thought they could win it at that point. And there we go. We even get the group fist bump in the end. The try. I don't want to finish that sentence just in case. The try bump doesn't sound great, does it? PG stream. Either way.
It's a family show. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen the off save, actually, but they have the money to afford it either way. And FaZe Clan did rescue it for Cold Zero yet again. Nico going to be on the Mac 10 this time. And Cirque is actually rotating his position, so instead of watching outer, he's actually going to get aggressive in towards Hut. He might actually have a player, but again, Cold is waiting, and Cold gets himself another kill. I think he's been able to really put his foot down in terms of use this AWP and try and dismantle the Evil Genius' side.
I like this, though. It seems like he's prepared for a lot of the aggression. Maybe not prepared for the secondary AWP to be over onto ramp, though. So that will be at least a trade back for the CT side. Utility's not maxed out just yet, but they're in a reasonable position here. And the T's actually don't have that many grenades themselves. So they have a couple of players with some, but they used a lot of it very early into the round. So I think they may even need another pick here. And while it seems like Brocky may not even be third on the chain for the AWP because Olaf's picked it up here, but he's just found the kill onto Breeze instead. So, hey, that works out.
That was a hell of a shot, too. Right through the wall. Stanislaw should be able to get this. Sees out Nico. It's a Mac 10. Again, Nico's been kind of left his own devices, it seems. The general plan is let Nico push out towards outer, get towards secret. The rest of the team going to push in towards ramp. Tarek is actually rotated off of ramp, so he's giving up that control. Trying to look for a very important kill they're going to need as the bomb has gone down, but they've lost a player. Ethan actually has gone down to Nico. So Nico was already low on life from the initial exchange up against Stanislaw. He's actually able to still get a kill nonetheless, and they're going to be saving these weapons here, Tom. So this is going to be a 6-1 start for FaZe Clan on the T side of Nuke.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely flying through this at the moment. I'd say that a lot of the time it's just been off patient plays and a few good individual picks. Like, it was the aggression in that round from EG that actually kind of caught them out because we saw 2 AWP picks that literally just came in from them pushing. So
yeah, Cirque died initially as you got aggressive, and then you had Breeze fall, getting hit through the wall. You had Tarek able to put a hold on the push towards ramp, taking Cold Zero down, off the get-go of that one. But yeah, a little bit of aggression not working out for him. Rain's going to fall. Brokey gets tagged up, but he's going to survive. Not a bad start here for FaZe Clan. I think there's a lot of questions around the roster. Obviously, not having their 5th player signed officially within the team is finally Coldzera did come around. But what kind of performance would they have in this tournament? I think this is like a decent test. This is a pretty solid test for them against Evil Geniuses, a team who's been around for a while as a scorer, who has placed it really highly at the major, as you mentioned before. And going over to a map like Vertigo, that's going to be really interesting considering neither team really, well, you have EG who hasn't played it in official, and you have, I think, FaZe Clan has played it like 2 times total, if I'm not mistaken, less than 3. So it's going to be an interesting map, and we're going to see how deep the pool goes for FaZe.
Yeah, the next map really is going to be like really interesting because it's basically both teams as a core have not played at all.
Yeah.
In officials, of course. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's a bit of a messy map still, but it is fun to watch. You see a lot of good individual plays, and the battle for ramp has become quite exciting. Like I still remember watching the Renegades versus Avantgarde in the major, and it was one of those positions where Renegades were dedicating 3 players down there, and then Avantgarde were just putting Jame. And it was just 2 completely different styles, and there's still so much to work out with that map.
Yeah, but Jame's basically like 3 players.
He's got the hair of about 7, but that's not the point.
Stop. I can hear your jealousy coming through.
I'd kill for hair like that.
Olofmeister's gotten down through vents, though. Not sure if he's been spotted out. I imagine he has. As you can see, Cirque playing extra passive here.
Yeah, they've already got 2 players on the lower bomb side. They must know that he's around here. That's such a heavy dedication early on. It could be because of the way they've been playing, and yeah, Cirque quickly checks. They definitely had an idea that he was down there, and that's a much better start for EG. Obviously, in this round, there's some huge limitations, like 2 players already completely out of utility. Most of the utility they have left is just flashbangs, and then still an MP9. So this round isn't done by any stretch, and I think the way that FaZe are playing is actually quite difficult to play against. It's so slow until like the very last. Like you see a lot of aggressive rushes on this map. Not most of the time, just people sitting back and just going, yep, we're going to wait till 30 seconds.
Well, I think FaZe were hoping that Olofmeister would stay alive a lot longer in towards event because they were trying to set up the smokes towards outside to allow Nico again to push by himself. They've actually put 3 players in this position. 30 seconds left to go, as you mentioned before, how slow they're playing, how frustrating it can be. But Evil Geniuses still have 6 flashbangs left to use, so they haven't really wasted too much of this. And they're going to need these flashbangs to have an opportunity against these AKs, though, if they come in towards upper. Ethan's going to be waiting, tucked away with the MP9.
Yeah, that smoke is buying so much time, though, for the CTs. There's only 15 seconds left. They have to go now, and there's already multiple players around this side. Ethan up close. That's the bomb on the floor. I think this time the time is going to hit them hard. They've already run out. The bomb is not going to be planted. There's still 2 players on the lower bomb side as well. There's not a chance for FaZe to do anything there, and I think that was the counter. Just late usage of... I think that might have been their smoke. I question it because I remember calling out the fact that they had 6 flashbangs and 1 incendiary. So was that the T smoke, or did they just find one?
I want to say they've had to... Why would you smoke main if you're going to go through main?
I don't know. Especially with that little time. Like, I can understand it if you have, like, 45 seconds left.
Yeah.
Because then you're trying to just gain the control and be a bit more surprising. But when you have 20 seconds left, you're going, well, if we leave it down to 3 to try and get onto the bomb, like, that's insane.
Again, I'm going to push straight through door. This time, the explosive push in towards the upper bomb site. Brokey gets the first and the second. So well done by them. That patience from earlier rounds pays off as they switch things up and get aggressive. Oh my God. All right, one Molotov wasn't good enough. I think 3 makes a statement.
They've created a barbecue up the top. I don't think anybody's going to be going through that. They have a great start to the round from Brokey as well. Like, throwing him in as the entry fragger. We see how powerful that SG is once again as he just domes 2 players as he walks in. Now they can pretty much go on the hunt. There's a fair amount of cash still available for the FaZe clan. So if they can remove 1 or 2 of these weapons... I like this position from Stan. It's not the most common of angles. He has, however, given away his spot. And I think Oliver's spotted out. It's just whether they can actually remove anyone, and he's actually going to go down to the bomb. A little bit too close, but even still.
Thing is, I think this round works like on 2 fronts for them. A, they won the round, so obviously that's one of the fronts they won on. But also they're showing they can be aggressive and explosive. So now if you're EG, you kind of have to maybe invest utility earlier on instead of holding it on to late in the round like we saw in the previous. They can't afford to just wait with 6 flashbangs if they're going to come running out of doors like that. So it really keeps EG on the back foot, trying to figure out, do we use the utility early, do we use it late?
Yeah.
And really tries to stretch out any sort of lasting power that Evil Jesus can provide with the utility.
Here we go. Stan going for a little bit of aggression himself. He has actually walked past one of the players. Nico may just need to turn around here, or he could look to be the knife in the back. And that's exactly what he does still. Cirque quick on the trade, keeps the man advantage, at least early within this. Cold's still going to try and lurk outside, but their smokes are going to begin to fade. And he can't really continue too far here, unless they're going to be throwing down a couple more, which it looks like is possible. They're going to try and give him at least a little bit of cover. However, this is another situation where we've now seen EG get that early advantage. Like, they have done it a couple of times. I think
they've got it through aggression, I feel like, though.
Yeah, that is the case. Like, Stan has been pretty much taking these fights. That is disgusting. He almost just killed Ethan through the floor.
Well, we've seen like 3 aggressive rounds. So far, twice it's worked. The one time it didn't, remember they pushed through Hut, looking for the initial shot with Cirque. They dropped to Cold Zera. Aggression works out this time. Well, at least it did. Fortunately, they're down to 2 players. Now just 1 is Tarek's the last alive, trying to flank in from Raider Room. I'll call that until I die. It's always Raider Room in my eyes. I don't know how he's going to pull this off. I mean, he's got Brokey low on HP. They generally know where he's going to be with the nade coming through. And he has a kit at least, but doesn't really have the angle, unfortunately. Brokey's going to kill him, and it's going to be another round for FaZe. Considering they lost players really early on, a 2-for-1 exchange, that's a pretty damn good turnaround.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't really feel like they did that much. Like, a lot of
FaZe
it...
Clan?
Yeah, I feel like they just were sort of patient. Like, they got peeked into Hut again, and they just waited, and they got a kill. And then they'd already done damage through the Hut onto the other players. They just walk into the site. Like, a lot of it seems like they're just being patient, and EG are going, okay, we have to do something. We have to do something. It's like, you have a man up. You don't really need to do that much. Sure, okay, you have a little bit of a limitation when it comes to weaponry and utility, so I do understand, okay, we want to find the information, but, like, how many times now have we seen them peek into Hut and die?
Twice.
Well, I think even, wasn't the shot through the wall that Olaf hit earlier was also...
Okay, so technically 3 different people, yeah.
And it hasn't worked. The push into that position hasn't worked. Like, you can go for, like, sneakier peeks. If you do it from above, you can sometimes get the information. But it looks like they're just trying to fight FaZe, which, if I can think of anything worse, well, I'd have to be a genius. Maybe an evil one.
I don't get paid enough for that sometimes. Well, 8-2, a good start for Evil Geniuses. And yeah, I think I completely agree. It seems like EG are just forcing the issue a little too often. Like, they don't necessarily need to get aggressive. It's great to, like, get aggressive, get a kill, and then back away, which you saw Stanislaw do, right? He got the initial kill. He tried to back off, and technically he probably should have escaped, because we saw Nico get very aggressive, push through their own smoke to cross in towards Secret, which eventually did get punished by Cirque. But I don't know. It's like they have something to prove. They don't feel confident playing passive and playing for retakes. Obviously, retakes are very difficult on Nuke.
Well, think of one of the rounds they've won. It was on time.
Yeah.
Like, they've won 2 rounds, and one of them is based off FaZe running out of time. So why is that not something that comes in again? Like, sure, the next round, FaZe just blasted into the site and absolutely wrecked them. So you're going to have that in your mind as well, that, okay, we can't just save utility all the time.
Yeah.
But even still, like, if you're getting wrecked this hard on the CT side, I think you have to try and switch things up, force FaZe into a more execute-heavy style, make them go for, like, riskier plays like they had to do in that round. Instead, though, I like this. Olaf just trying to lurk in the back lines. The rest of the team making their way in towards this site. Cirque does manage one. Tarek's still here, but doesn't connect anything. Nico just with the cleanup. And, well, you can hit some pretty nutty long-range shots with the MP9. But I'd be very impressed if he gets away with anything here. And, yeah, that's about right.
I think a question as well that people should have is, like, who's going to be the support player within the team? Because Olafmeister's been playing Lurk recently, and I'm assuming he's going to continue to play that, as we just saw.
I don't know. You say that, but for the majority of the rounds, Nico's been lurking.
Yeah, which, I mean, to be fair, I mean, it's also kind of like Counter-Strike 101, but you have to ask, like, do you need a support? And I feel like on a lot of the maps you're going to need to, but there's going to be those maps where people can just hit those shots, so you don't need those flashes to open things up with. Though I feel like the better teams you play, the more stuff you're going to get without that kind of support play. So I'm really, I'm really curious who's going to pick that up. It's Cirque again. He's really locking things down in towards Squeaky. Second time he's been able to do just that. They have the man advantage. Now this time, EG, don't get aggressive. Don't push. Let them come to you. You have the man advantage. You have an op watching ramp. You have an op in towards upper if Cirque's going to continue to hold that position, which he's actually watching towards outer now. and just wear the timeout. And don't tell me, yeah, Breeze is actually going to be in towards Huddy. If he gets wallbanged another time, I'm going to flip.
I think he's going to flip his keyboard, or maybe the desk. Oh, that is messy, but he gets away with it. That's fine. Olaf didn't even try and kill him. He was like, maybe I can just jump away from this. But no, it doesn't work out. So it is going to work this time.
I don't think he's a T-Rex. I don't think if you stop moving, he's just not going to see you all of a sudden. I think that's how it works in Counter-Strike. But 55 seconds left to go here for FaZe Clan. Down 2 players. Stanislaw going to make that 3. It looks like finally Evil Geniuses have been able to put a halt on FaZe Clans in the round. 9 rounds on T-side. Nuke, though, is phenomenal to see. I feel like just more about EG being underprepared than FaZe Clan performing super well.
Doing a lot of damage in this scenario. Brocky is going to be able to remove 1, and actually Cold hits a shot onto Ethan as well. This is still a possibility for FaZe. They're going to Molotov things off. That gives them the chance to get the bomb down. Brocky even getting slightly more aggressive here. And he's actually going to go down. Understandable, but he's going to leave it onto this man, and there's not many other people you'd want to see in these sort of clutch situations. The problem is they have so much utility. Round the corner they go. He hits the shot onto the first, but nothing more. Stan puts down Cold Zero, and they are going to get themselves a 3rd round.
But Tom, that was 2 on 5.
Yes.
That was 2 on 5, and they pulled it down to a 1v2 or 1v3 with a 1v2 in the end. Like, that should just not really happen.
Even at 2v3, I would say that that's open. Like, at that point, like...
There was still a chance FaZe Clan could have won that easily.
If Brocky pushes, gets one of them and falls back, they win.
Yeah.
Like, I'm almost 100% sure they win. But, yeah, it was important that they peaked him together. I don't think he expected there to be 2 players rotating through the ramp, but... Yeah, he definitely doesn't seem to be shying away from anything here. Top fragger in the whole server at 18 years old and probably the least known of everybody in the server. Like, I think it was HLTV, there was a post coming out from Professor where he said when he was signed to this team, he had 1,800 followers. So it's sort of like going into this and being the top fragger in this match. When you look at some of the names that you have in there,
how does it feel that he's 18 and he has more followers on Twitter than you?
He probably does now. Should I check? While we've got a little bit of a break, let's really hurt my self-esteem.
I've been at this for 7 years, and I don't want to hear he's passed me in the matter of 2 days.
Hey, FaZe is a pretty big brand.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Back into the game. 9-3 in our first half for FaZe Clan. They're looking to make it 10. Will they be explosive? They do have a MAC 10 on Rain. So we might see them go for the big push in towards inner, or actually they're just going to go out towards ramp, going to push straight to the smoke. Tarek, will he expect it? Well, it doesn't matter. He's going to miss the first shot and back away in the meantime. Rain not able to chase this one down, but they've been able to get this lower control, and there we go. The shotgun op coming out of Tarek, only able to get 1. Cirque's going to be there for a second. Now they immediately have to hold things off here, FaZe Clan, not feeling like they can contest this push, this AWP too easily, unless Olafmeister can hit this shot.
Yeah, they have to continue to push. That's the problem. The bomb is not dropped in a particularly pretty position. And there's already 3 players on the lower bomb site for EG. They're in a very good position here. Pete going to be coming out. Cirque lets 1 cross, but the other won't get the courtesy. Now it leaves just 2 remaining. Now they managed to bring it close in the previous round. This one, if anything, is a closer scenario, but a bit of a better crossfire available for Evil Geniuses. So you can't really expect much here from FaZe, but hey, we'll see.
I mean, it's 2v4. I wouldn't count them out from what we've seen in the prior rounds. They can get these 2 kills in towards the door, which I think Olafmeister might try to actually bait it in with the help of the bomb, and he gets the first. That's Cirque going down. Will he expect the second? Yes, he will. Ethan will follow as well. Now it's down to a 2-on-2. As Stanislaw pushes through the door, the bomb does go down, but Cold now in a 1-on-2 up against Breeze and Stanislaw. He's got some time to work with. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the HP. 1 grenade out of Stanislaw could end this round for FaZe Clan.
Oh, it just goes past him. They might expect him to have moved. That's the only problem, but I think he thought there was somebody already defusing the bomb. They're now going to try and bait him into a peek, and this time it's for real. This time they're holding it down. The peek comes out, and, well, it's just going to be defused. Nothing Cole could do there. Breeze even puts him down in the end, and, yeah, he was just too low HP to hold on to that one. If he has a little bit more, then I think there's a possibility.
I wonder if he didn't go for the first shot onto the bomb when no one was defusing, because you were saying they might have thought he went somewhere else because the nade did go through, right? Maybe he wouldn't have been able to turn it to a 1-on-1 if he just held the trigger discipline a little bit better, but Obviously, hindsight can be 20/20. It's
Yeah,
hard
it's
to figure
helpful.
out what could have happened. But still, 9 rounds. Like that's going to be a T half you're going to be very happy about when you move on to the CT side. As you make your way through into the last round of the half, a lot of heavy early investment out of the CT side out of EG to make sure there's no sort of rush to come through. Have yet to see the broke on the AWP. I'm curious if we're not really going to see it much over the course of this series and maybe this tournament. But I definitely want to see what this young star has to bring to the FaZe Clan roster.
Yeah, as said, in his previous team, it wasn't really something he did.
Yeah.
So it might just be something he picks up every once in a while. I think that's the great thing. Like, you try and counter one AWPer. If the other team has 4, it's a little bit more difficult. Then again, this man alone can be difficult enough to counter. Cirque just going aggressive on the outside. It's been a real pleasure to push this angle for FaZe so far, but this man has decided to try and take it back, not allow them any further. And while they didn't expect Stan in the corner either, he was the backup plan in case anything went wrong. Much better now from EG as they completely shut down this round, and it's just the Latvian man left to try and fight this back. The youngster with so much pressure on his shoulders, I don't think it gets any tougher than this.
All right, well, that's a good start. That's the first kill. It's gonna need a hell of a lot more than this, though, to close this round out. With only 28 seconds left to go, looks like it will be a 5-9 scoreline so far. He's moving to now the last round of the half. And finally, we've seen EG pick up some steam. They've been able to start winning some rounds. Though I wonder, is it going to be a little bit too late for them, though?
I will say, obviously, with a new roster, a lot of the time you can find holes within their defense a lot easier. Like, maybe the T side is just a little bit more free-flowing. You have, obviously, Nico actually calling the strategies, what the plan is, and you just follow that. Or you're just trying to work picks, and EG have been handing them. The other side, if you're being pushed, it's a little bit more difficult. Maybe communication goes a bit wrong. We'll have to wait and see. And once again, Olovi's been pretty good at getting down and towards these vents. There is already Stan around this angle, just waiting patiently for anybody to try and make their way in towards this site, which, well, if it's actually just lurking around that angle, it's more just going to be a game of cat and mouse and see who ends up stealing that frag away. But it's at least a lot of map control. It's just what you actually do with it from here. Can Olov actually manage to get a kill? Is it just for information? And what do the remaining players on the team actually do in the meantime? By the looks of it, they're throwing a lot of smokes outside, but that's not where the majority of the team are going.
Yeah, it's a standard let Nico rotate in a little bit later as they set him up with smokes. Olaf did get down. This is actually that round we talked about before where Olaf Meister got caught. That if Olaf Meister stayed alive, then they would be able to force the push in towards ramp. They'd have Nico come in towards Secret as well. But Olaf Meister's gone down again, unfortunately. They're being shut down at ramp with the AUG. And it looks like this strat's not going to work out another time here for FaZe Clan. Oh, Cirque is just so deadly with AWP.
Yeah, this man stepping up has made things very difficult. And now, well, they know that Nico's been lurking around other portions of the map, so they're expecting every angle. If Cirque doesn't manage to kill him here, it's only because he's looked away. Like, the angle he is currently holding is absolute filth. Nico actually predicts it, but yeah, he gets decapitated. A good turnaround in the end, you could say, but ultimately, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, so good job by EG to come back. It's now 9-6 at the end of the first half. We're going to head to a short break, and when we come back, we'll be finding out who takes map number 1.
you're a boss when you not one. You ain't sacrificed, nah, you ain't lost none. All over the gram like you got a bag. You ain't big dog, we ain't hearing none of that. I'm in the gym looking like a running back. How you know the flow, got him coming back. Who I was in the past, I'm unattached. Only focus in this moment is bringing the summer back. Oh, respect my grind, elevate souls and I spread good vibes. Young divine, you know I gotta shine. Raise your hands for a good time. Aight.
Vibe until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you want it, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move. 3, 2, bringing summer to you.
Oh, ready, let's go. 'Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know like
Welcome back, everyone, to the continuation of ESL One New York with FaZe Clan up against the Evil Geniuses. So far, it's been a 9-6 scoreline in favor of FaZe Clan from the T side of Nuke. And we'll see how they can finish off potentially this map in the second half. And Jason Kaplan's still joined by the lovely, handsome, wearing a tuxedo in the studio today, Tom Biz.
Sure, why not?
And no one can prove me wrong because no one can see us.
That is true. It's a shame I didn't have the trousers with me, otherwise it really would have been perfect.
Yeah, I don't really appreciate only dressing the top half of your body.
Yeah, I feel sorry for whoever's to sit on this chair next, to be honest. But
well, that would be Moses, who will be back tomorrow. But we're about to kick off our second half, and so far, FaZe Clan, they've had, I think, a phenomenal start. Like, considering it's on Nuke, which is a very difficult map to do. And then, of course, after this map, we'll have Vertigo as our second, which is really a crazy map, considering both teams really haven't played it much. Actually, in fact, one team hasn't played it at all competitively in an official match. So we'll see how Vertigo goes when we do get there.
Oh, I do love the little nade into the door. It's a quick push once again. Deja vu from the previous pistol round, and already it is going to be the trades going in favor of the T side once more. 2 players up from heaven. Not so many Molotovs this time, and Brocky hoping to try and do some damage from above. The fact is, though, there's still a smoke and a flashbang. Tarek even going to be able to pick one off to make this even tougher for the FaZe Clan. And they looked pretty happy and smiley when we looked at them during the break. And I can see why now. Maybe they planned this pistol round. Just peekaboo between... How is neither of them dead? Olaf finally gets the kill. He does have a kit, so if he could quickly get a couple of frags, but it looks like he's just going to opt to save it. Still got the smoke available for the next round, even if he can get past, which Stan isn't going to allow him to.
So an aggressive start for Evil Geniuses, just rushing straight through into the site. They take the pistol round, which I think was going to be needed considering how many rounds they need on this T side to take map 1. But yeah, I mean, Smiles are looking pretty happy on their side. I feel like they should be now after taking the pistol and after starting to step up here when the time does count. But again, just pistol round. I want to see the first gun round. You can see our Betway odds here as well. Still favored Evil Geniuses, even though they did have a 6-9 score at the end of the first half.
Yeah, I do wonder if that could just be wondering what I said sort of in the last half of the map, where are they really going to be that strong on the CT side, considering they've just thrown 2 new players into the mix, and they are going to be pushed by EG. Like, this is not a team that you can just let your foot off the gas. They are currently in the top 4 in the world. And, well, one of the teams in the form of Avangard, we're not really sure how long they're actually going to be remaining there. Like, they did a couple of decent events, but maybe not the most consistent team in the world. So I would even put them as like a top 3 realistically. So, yeah, definitely pressure still on for FaZe. Sure, they had a fantastic T half, but can they do the same in the second?
Well, Turk able to sneak through in towards Garage. A flank onto Nico, so they do have the man advantage up against basically just the Deagles. 5-7 in there for Brokey. But I do, again, like how EG are taking the time here. I think they need to make sure to lock down these rounds, have a good initial start, get it back to like a 9-9 scoreline if they can. But I definitely agree. FaZe Clan on the CT side, this is where we're going to see how well they've been able to prepare. And again, using that patience that FaZe Clan had against them here on the T side, taking the time, 31 seconds left on the clock. They didn't have a bomb in a position to plant, even though they were getting kills. Terry's getting riled up as well. Good
or
signs for
yawning.
EG.
It's hard to tell.
It's true, yeah, with no audio, it is hard to tell.
So, boring. No, I imagine he is having
He must be listening to us cast then.
Yeah, probably. That would be cheating, but then again, probably don't give them much information with what we say anyway.
Our expert analysis of our MGEs.
Definitely.
Well, FaZe Clan going to be back on the full save of the USPs. They're trying to get at least one gun, it looks like, here, all stacked up towards the outside position. Don't know if they're going to have an opportunity for it, though, unfortunately. So much utility used behind this. FaZe Clan just hoping to get one, and I don't think they're going to be able to really pull this out. Okay, well, you know, Commentator's Curse comes through. They get a second as well, and they might get a third. What is going on here? FaZe Clan, who shouldn't have even gotten really one kill, net themselves a quick 3. They net themselves some really important guns as well. And there's almost a realistic chance they can pull this off. The problem is they haven't been able to recover any of these weapons.
Yeah, they can see them from a distance. Unfortunately, they're just a little bit too far away. Hopefully for them, the Kaplan Curse won't completely demolish them.
It's like the worst superpower to have, because it only works when I don't want it to work.
But yeah, they are just going to reset this round. Even still, for FaZe, this is fantastic. Not only do they get the little bit of extra money, which might net them a smoke or maybe an incendiary, but it also does huge amounts of damage and forces a load of rebuys. It's going to mean that EG going forward won't have that little buffer that we saw from FaZe, where they were able to keep things very clean and just basically do so much damage early on.
There's only 30 seconds left to go, though. And they actually went towards the outside. I thought they were going to maybe pick up some weaponry here. I think they did drop an AK instead. Not getting anything off this. They're going to be pushing in towards upper. coldzera is going to be there waiting. And unfortunately looking the wrong way. It's now trying to run back out to pick up an AK. That would have been a completely different story, though, I feel like, if FaZe Clan were able to recover some of those weapons. I think there was a really strong chance they could have taken that round. And I think EG should be breathing a sigh of relief, considering how that went. Trading, was it 3 for 3 in pistols against guns?
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
Some of those shots from range as well, like...
I think initially FaZe even came out on top of that battle, which is worrying. And now you look at the buy they're coming back in with, a couple of AUGs alongside that AWP. This time onto Olaf, so it is like switching hands. We've now seen Nico, Cold, and Olaf all picking up the AWP. So it's probably just going to be down to the different positions that they're actually playing around the map and maybe where they feel comfortable, which could actually work quite well for them, but we'll see. And, well, Ethan going to be keeping the MAC-10. Him and Breeze are the only one with any real cash going into this round. So this is less a bonus round and more the one that they need to win. And there's a little bit of a gap in the smoke. You wonder if that's more our side of things. Like, can Nico actually see anything? The flashbang, though, stops his opponents from seeing anything. Olaf will set him up for the peak, but unfortunately, it's only going to get them one.
Yeah, the one and done spot, a little bit of a shame. They weren't able to help cover off his retreat, but then again, you're in a wide open area where they can just spray bullets, and eventually some of those are going to hit. And I'm trying to push him towards lower. This is going to be a little bit difficult with the AWP in the hands of Cirque. Well, Meister takes down Breeze in the meantime. So man advantage back to FaZe Clan. And they're taking their time, Evil Geniuses, to finally push through. They don't really have much utility to support this. They do have a flashbang out of Cirque, but hey, the MAC-10 gets the job done sometimes.
Oh, this is all going to be down to timing. Stan just managed to getting himself up close. Brocky obviously missing on the further player, and then the close one able to shut him down, and that's the timing that Stan was looking for. A big play, impact round from him, and Cirque quickly dispatches of coldzera as well. A fantastic play from the IGL. And that's going to net another round onto the board. And that was the buy round. This is now where the advantage swings into the favor of EG. And we'll have to wait a round or two to see if the money comes back in for FaZe.
Well, you guys talked about before here, you talked about on the desk as well, Stanislaw had a phenomenal performance at the major. Yeah. And you know what? He's continuing it here. Currently at 13-9. But again, the timing's working out well for him here, at least in the second half.
Well, that's the difference between him and Daps. Like, Daps, I don't think there's many people doubting his in-game leading abilities. It's just that he was never really putting up the numbers. And in modern-day Counter-Strike, if you want to be one of the best teams in the world, it seems like you need to be able to frag as well. Like, you look at the top 2 teams in the world. Like, Nitro can frag better than most players, let alone in-game leaders. And Glaive's been up there for ages as well in his fragging ability. So they've now joined that list of teams where their in-game leader can put up numbers.
Makes you that much more of a threat. I mean, we were even casting the tournament back in Budapest, looking at Tricked and Hunden, kind of one of those in-game leaders where he's just about the calls, he's not really about putting up big numbers, though he does, in time to time, you know, have some good games.
He had some decent impact plays as well within that tournament. I think definitely helped them win.
Oh, the pistol's up against the guns. Not going to work out well for Nico. This Terry's going to drop him with the AK. Going to push back in towards the upper side. Player in towards Hut. Player sitting inside of a smoke as well, trying to be a little bit of a nuisance. Rain's going to have a good time. He now picks up. What? He gets himself a double kill. He does not have the op, though, unfortunately. It looks like it bounced a different direction. Not sure how the op can roll, but it looks like it did. Oh, yeah, he's actually going to push through the smoke. He picks it up. Unfortunately, not able to escape with it, but still gets 2 kills either way. Op recovered for EG. And they're continuing their rampage here on the T side.
Yeah, and this is where things start to get scary for FaZe, because up until this point, we've only seen them with the wind in their sails, with them sort of rolling off the individual plays. Now is where you need some of that in-game leading, and that's where questions have been asked in the past. Like, sure, Nico is very good at setting himself up for plays, but not necessarily helping the team actually get the victory. So we'll see what's actually going to be there. Like, what sort of setups does he have for the CT side? Is it just going to rely more on the individuals once again?
I would imagine so. Just based off the amount of time they've been playing together. Brokey's going to be left to his own devices towards ramp as Breeze is the initial onto Rain. We haven't really seen too many explosive plays out of Evil Geniuses. Nice little support from Nico. Helps save Brokey's life for a little bit. Looking for the spray down to the second, but Cirque's going to drop him. Down to a 2-on-2. Tarek. He might have the drop. Doesn't have the bomb, but this is an important kill if he can take down Olafmeister. He heard him scoping, so he knows the general direction he's going to be. And Olaf's going to hit the shot. There you go. Olafmeister, a great individual play. 3 kills for him. Gets them the round.
He's looked really good with the AWP as well. Like, that's not something I really expected to see. Like, he is someone, as it was mentioned again on the desk, that he can AWP. He's been, when he was one of the best players in the world, he definitely could AWP. There was no arguments there, but it was very situational. But I suppose that's what they've been doing. Like, on the T side, he didn't have it. He only picked it up once, and I think that's because Cold Zero died early in the round. Other than that, he's just picked up on the CT side. And, hey, he's got a fair few picks. He pretty much wins them that round.
We saw Cirque using that position before on the CT side. Instead, it's going to cost him 45 points of health. All being burnt up. It worries me, though, if you're going to have to depend on individual plays like this to win rounds. But again, Rain, he gets a triple kill. Brokey's flanking him from the back, but it doesn't seem to matter. Kind of Fnatic-esque, winning maps off of individual plays and individual clutches. You can't depend on someone to put up 3Ks time and time again. Though back-to-back rounds, we've been able to see it. So Stanislav by himself up against 5. And FaZe Clan should be able to tie this back up here.
Yeah, Stan, again, hoping to do some damage. Just look at the T economy. Like, they've won a fair few rounds in a row now, and it really hasn't been clean. Like, their finances are in the gutter, and this could be the chance for FaZe Clan to really now get onto the board.
Well, think back to the USPs versus the guns. I mean, 3 kills off of that.
Oh, they've got everything covered here. Like, Nico would have to be an instant headshot, so much damage done, and Stan not going to stand a chance. But, you know, those are the sort of plays that, again, like, were missing from FaZe, at least recently. Like, we did see, again, at the Major, a couple of, like, big maps coming out from Rain. You have to remember there was a point where he was also a top 5 player within the world. Like, when he played, I think it was Mirage, he got, like, 29 kills in one of the maps, and then later in the tournament, we saw absolutely nothing from him. So there have definitely been consistency issues with the majority of players within this team. So I think this sort of confidence boost of getting, like, a young gun who hasn't had the same success as a lot of these players, and Cold, who I think definitely wants to prove, like, okay, I can do something outside of a Brazilian team. I think this is going to motivate everyone.
Especially with, like, Nico and him being such good friends. Also helps quite a bit. Olafmeister gets the first onto Cirque. A very important kill. But again, they're pretty much up just against the pistols. So they should be able to close this one out, take the lead back in their hands. 4K for Brokey. Currently at 18 kills, having a pretty good start. I think you could be happy with that so far. But again, just the pistols, not really a heavy investment. This is where they need to start to keep that foot down and continue this progress and continue to win rounds. It's not going to get any easier from here out.
Yeah, the one thing for them, though, is that they have managed to have that sort of a few streak back. A lot of the rounds they've been having have also been fairly clean as well. So the finances are now decent for that CT side. So I don't think there's going to be too much of a worry for FaZe at this point. I think also for them going into this matchup, sure, the whole community expects an awful lot of them, but this is their first tournament. They can't really just bomb out and show nothing. That would be not great when you've just made one of the biggest, I think the biggest purchase in Counter-Strike history of Cold Zero. Like, I imagine that fee was off the charts. You also have probably the second biggest sitting right next to him. So this team does have to do something off the back. But if they lose to EG here, it's really not the end of the world. Like, I don't think their organizers are going to be like, well, you lost to a top 4 team in the world straight off the back. That's it. So yeah. The pressure's definitely on Evil Geniuses. They've just signed for a new organization. They've got to prove that, okay, yeah, we're one of the top teams, like straight off the bat.
Well, the first time EG's been in CS in quite a long time. Yep. Taking it back to the Jaguar days. Kind of hope they play against a Swedish team for old time's sake. The what up now, Swedes? Okay, it's fine, Tom. It's all right. Not everyone is as old as me, unfortunately. So EG back on the buy-up. They do have the op back in the hands of Cert. Breeze has pretty much been able to help open up the ramp basically by himself with just the SG, and Olaf's even rotated a different position, trying to watch towards Secret. So they've given up the lower control. Looks like they're going to be playing for the retake. They have a Molotov, they have a smoke, they have a ton of flashes to use. I still feel like it's going to be very difficult for them to get back into the site without getting a single kill so far.
I also don't think they knew that this many players were down there that fast. Like 2 players just running in, just Rain and Olaf, and then the bomb gets planted as they get around the corner. The remaining players of the CT side may just want to try and hold on to their weaponry here. Now, money's decent, so it's not too much of a worry. They can look to try and do some damage. But yeah, it looks like that flash was just to get Brocky out of there, give him a little bit more space, try and find a different position. Although he goes back to the same spot.
They have to be saved, so there's no time left.
No.
Maybe like peek and get a kill on the retreat. Make it more expensive for Evil Geniuses, but I don't think they're going to lose out on too many players, if any, here. Yeah, there you go. So relatively clean round for EG, and I think that was desperately needed considering, as we mentioned before, their economy constantly taking hits, constantly not able to pull off the rounds they needed to in a fashion that they can maintain a ton of weapons into the next round. And they're continuing on the warpath, not giving up just yet. And I almost want to say it looks of some concern on FaZe Clan's side, but there we go. Olaf with the off yet again. Back on the M4's full utility, a massive investment into this round, but they still have so much money left to spend anyways.
Yeah, not too much of a worry. At least in terms of money for FaZe. Cold now trying to take a bit of a leaf out of Breeze's book as he gets aggressive. He's got to be wary because there is a player just above him.
But I like how they smoked it off to like kind of pretend, yeah, there's no one here.
They're like, shh.
Yeah.
Why would we throw smoke down if there's someone in the corner? It's the mind games, but I think most players should still expect an angle like that. Out of control being challenged. There's actually a big gap within the smokes, and Cold does manage to catch out Ethan. They've got to be really careful here, as this is an easy kill for Nico. Just a small gap within the smokes, a small mistake made. And he's going to capitalize on it. Nice shot from Breeze, at least, to get back in. There's another player around the corner. He gets that one as well. Big entries in towards the site. They know that Nico's out here. Breeze is just going nuclear. And now Brocky trying to rotate in. He's going to be caught out. That should be an easy kill at least. So that will put it back into a 2v2.
That Molotov actually indirectly killed Tarek, I feel like, because he never would have checked outside if he didn't have anywhere else to go, or if he had another avenue he could go. Breeze again, that's going to be a 4K for him. 1v2 Nico. He does have a kit. He doesn't have the time, and that's going to be the ace coming through for Breeze. So a nice little 5K. That's EG the leader yet again.
Yeah, those are the plays that they desperately needed.
He just walked in. Like, yeah. He had a couple of like 1v1 fights. He was able to like win on the kills in towards heaven. Really didn't struggle much there that round for him.
No, that was a 5v3 as well. Like Cold got an opener, Nico got an opener, and then even after that we see Tarek go down. Breeze just absolutely fantastic, not missing a trick, and well, at least we can still see a buy for FaZe, but it puts EG back into the lead once again. Out of control, going to be fought for. Nico, he's had some success here. He's been a little bit of a pain, but you can see there's players on the outside patiently waiting for any sort of aggression from him. He has started to become a little bit predictable. There's also a man up above as well in the form of Stan, who's just going to be looking for any sort of peaks. And he doesn't have any cover here. The only thing he's had alongside him has been a flashbang every once in a while from Olaf to sort of clear a little bit of space, but in this scenario, surely they should be expecting something like this, and he's even going to take Molotov damage. The flashbang does come through eventually, but this will definitely let Tarek know that he's here.
Yeah, he's going to easily know he's there now. I don't think you should really be able to escape this. Nice flashbang came through. Cecil's there to help protect him. The problem is it can technically be 2 1v1s, but Tarek gets the burn either way. I think he ran back into the fire.
He did.
That's unfortunate. Now leaving FaZe Clan with the man down. Now 2 as Cirque was just waiting for his prey to come into his sights. And here we go. The execute come in towards the site. There's actually a player tucked away. It's going to be coldzera, and he's got a lot to find to be able to pull this off. Sprays down onto 2. He drops the bomb as well. He stays alive through the op shot. Gets the 3rd as well into Cirque. Now it's all into Olafmeister, who's going to be dropped by Tarek. And AG will get the round.
Yeah, the only real worry there was the time. Like, it was getting down to, like, the 20-second mark as they looked to cross that bomb in. Cole does everything he could, and that is the thing with this roster. Like, you know, at any moment, somebody can just step up and clear out a round, but unfortunately for them, it wasn't quite enough, and well, now they are going to take the time to talk things over. As I said, I somewhat expected a weaker CT side from them. Obviously, a lot of it has still come off the back of some great individual plays, and I think a lot of their... It seems like a lot of the changes they're trying to make is purely based off, okay, let's try and do something with Nico outside. Like, he's switched up his position like 3 or 4 times, but he's only ever got like 1 kill. It doesn't seem to really work, and he is like the pinnacle of their out of control. And when he's not there, they just run down in towards Secret and take that B site, and it's happened a fair few times. The same with the ramp, you could even say. The ramp is basically, Brocky holds it. If he doesn't die, he calls for a rotation. If he does die, they have B. And I just don't think you can gamble that much. I understand they have the players to do it, but so do EG.
Speaking about Nico and outside, he's actually going to have the op now as they invest an op into this round with FAMAS as well.
We'll see if he can actually do anything this time. Once again, this is what I'm talking about. When he's not in a really aggressive position, so much control is gained. These smokes this time don't really allow for too much. There is going to be a flashbang once again, but all this really does at this point is just let them know he's here. Like, every time a pot flash comes outside, they must go, well, yeah, Nico's here somewhere. Because it's happened so many times. He caught someone once or twice, but yeah, that's the AWP gone. I do feel like they needed to be a little bit more unpredictable with that. Like, that was kind of obvious.
Well, I mean, we saw EG give him outside control and let him down in towards Secret consistently, whether it was Nico or a squad of players out of FaZe Clan, and yet they were able to still retake the side in some cases or defend from different positions in towards the lower. Bree is trying to stop anyone from picking up the op. I can expect a second there as Brokey's going to be able to take him down. And I would imagine 3v4, you're probably just going to save into the next round. You're probably going to save for overtime because you're not really going to have a chance to pull this one back. They have an SG for coldzera, so they at least have 2 weapons. This is troubling times now. This is going to be EG on map point.
Yeah, this does seem to be like things falling apart a little
I wonder
bit.
if this is like the way Nico's calling too, because you kind of hinted at it before. It's like calling around the way he wants to play it, but not necessarily around the way that they could win rounds or to play around the team. And the call of, okay, just forget it. Give me an op. I'm going to head outside, use some support with flashbangs. I'm going to make something happen. Well, as we've seen throughout this entire CT half, the max he gets, as you point out, was like 1 kill, and then he gets traded. So either way, the outside play is not working for him, and it seemed like he was just saying, like, I've had enough. Just give me the op. Let's go for it.
Yeah, the other thing as well is, like, the way that they've looked to control outside is very one-dimensional. Like, it's him. Like, they haven't had anybody around Secret. They haven't had anybody in the lower bomb side just waiting, and then they sort of have people maybe peeking in from main as well, just sort of mini to give them a little bit of extra space where they go, okay, I know people have crossed, or even just using Olaf from above in heaven, like, okay, they've put the smokes down, they might be coming your way, and then he's waiting. Instead, it's just been, we will fight outside every round. It's like, but what if it doesn't work? Then we will continue to fight outside. It's like, well,
we'll do it till it does work, even though the map might be over by then. And yeah, you're very right, because we looked at EG on the CT side. They actually had quite a few players. Whether it was Stanislav pushing, you still had support, or if they were just holding back towards mini and playing that angle from a couple of different positions. We saw Wolfmeister play Secret once, but that was on like the pistol. You know, they had deagles and stuff like that. It wasn't any weapons, so they couldn't support Nico. That was a decent nade onto Breeze. But yeah, one-dimensional seems to be something I can definitely agree with when it comes to the way FaZe have been playing, especially even towards ramp, as you mentioned before. Brokey gets a kill, he backs away, calls for rotations. If he dies, they have lower. There's no real crossfire coming through.
This is way more passive, though. Like, this time, Nico has actually given it up. Like, he's still fighting it, but from an angle where he's not going to be caught out on his own necessarily, and he can have a little bit more support. So this is the adaptation. It is a little bit late, but it's also wasting a lot of time. Like, that's the one benefit of like switching up your setups, is that they've just spent like most of the round just clearing this outside portion because they expected to be here. He is finally going to peek out, but that's the bit of information. And now he can fall back and look to actually fight with the rest of his team.
And with 30 seconds left to go, they're going to have to pick up the pace to get this bomb down. Coldzera might have some company. Brokey's going to get the first onto Breeze. 20 seconds left, and they're starting to pick up the pace. They have heavy control. They have people in towards the site. Rain is going to have a lot of company, but doesn't have a chance because Tarek's been able to get into heaven freely and get the kills. Now Olaf all alone up against 4 to keep FaZe kind of alive in this map on Nuke. Now the bomb has gone down.
This would almost have to be as unbelievable as how fast those kills came in for EG. That was ridiculous how quickly they cleaned up that site, and while they deserve it, what a fantastic T-side coming up from them. Definitely looks like there was some holes in the defense for FaZe Clan at the moment. As said, it is very early days. The T-side looked good. They had decent setups individually. We saw some strong play coming out from them, but ultimately EG were just the better team. Like on the T-side especially, slow,